It chooses you rather than you choosing it, because you are in alignment with it, which is your intention. It is a choice point at this moment. It's because it's all coming in and converging in this moment in a 0 point of a choice in which you get to spread out and decide where it is that you are wanting to go. Time itself is completely shifting and changing. And so parallel realities, lifetimes, experiences are bleeding into this experience. All right, everybody. Hi. So, if you are new to my channel, my name is Kelly Kalani. They know me as the Angel Lady, and I have been away for close to 3 weeks, traveling through Mexico. I began in the Yucatan, and then we traveled to Palenque, and then Mexico City, and then all the way to the Baja. So, from one end to the other, and to say that it was magical is a complete understatement. It was out of this world. And the reason that I went there and I contracted dengue fever while I was there, I had to move through lots of jungles, mosquito-ridden places, crazy energy. I met with over 3 different elders, wisdom keepers, and tribes, and it was quite extraordinary on many levels and life-changing. And what I feel that was gathered during that time was a frequency that was ushered in. And that frequency now, I feel as though I am embodying and I am holding and I'm bringing it to all of you. And I feel as though I came there and went there to receive this energy so that I could share it with you in the next code that's coming up. And so, as you guys all know, we have 55 codes, right, that we work with. But the next one that's come up is this one. Can you see this? It's called the choice point. And Raphael, in 36 years of channeling her, has never steered me wrong, and has said that this particular code needs to be transmitted at this particular moment in time here on Earth now. We are going through extraordinary times, and we all know that, and we can all feel that. But March of 2025 is a threshold where we get to step over into an entire new way of being if we choose to do that. We get to make a decision, a choice. And I feel as though everything that I've done in the last month, well, over the last 36 years, has prepared me for this moment and prepare me to share this information and this love with all of you. And so what I learned in this process was how to move energy. So my understanding is that as we come into the energy coming up in March, that there's going to be a lot of chaos, but through that chaos, we can ride it in the most magical and beautiful way. And we can really begin to align with our power and our capacity and our intention to shift the energy in real time as it's coming in toward us, as we are receiving it. And not only through that process of everything that happened on my travels and the understanding of how to do that, something I've been cultivating and practicing for many years, it's coming into fruition. It's also sharing and teaching how to communicate telepathically. And that was something that I was able to do and able to connect to the energy of shape shifting and literally actually bilocating, the energy of being able to summon something and bring it into your experience rather than moving through linear time in order to reach a moment in time to connect with something in which you're wanting to align with. The energy of the timelines are converging so rapidly that they come in and meet you where it is that you are. So the way that we operate and the way that we think and the way that we move forward in our human experience is changing rapidly, in that rather than looking for or to do something, we simply intend and invite whatever that may be to come into our experience. And my experience is that that is happening 100%, and it's kind of mind-blowing. And we see it in our current paradigm as something magical, but this is our natural state, and we're going to be returning to that natural state, that natural way of being. So today I'm going to channel the angel Raphael. We're going to talk about this planetary alignment that's coming up tomorrow, the new moon energy that's coming in, the preparation that's necessary for the choice point light code, which starts on Monday. And it ends, of course, on the spring equinox, which couldn't be any more are perfect, which will be in a huge activation and initiation into these higher frequencies. And all I can tell you and share with you is that if you have felt like something's coming, and a shift in the energy, and you would like to know how to open a portal to be in a really safe container through that change and step onto a high frequency and a wave of synchronicity and magic and reignite so much that's already within you to its fullest capacity so that you're fully empowered and in your own sovereignty, then be with us, because I want to share the stories and the magic and the love and the energy with all of you. And it really touches my heart because I'm emotional. I've been doing this 36 years. And when I started to channel during the harmonic convergence, Raphael talked about this change. And we've been talking about it, all of us, for so long, but we're really in it now. And as many people as I can serve to be able to align with this really beautiful frequency and to experience this synchronicity and let's see, can we make sure we're all muted? And magic is just really warms my heart. And through that, the polarity that might come up can be chaos and drama and human relations and difficulties. It doesn't mean that it's always just going to be like, woohoo, smooth. All of our stuff is like really coming up to the surface and asking us to clear it right now. And we don't have any more time, in a sense, left to just keep pushing it down and under the rug. We have to address it. And so everything is amplified, what we perceive as the good and what we perceive as the bad. But the choice point is choosing to see the perfection and the divinity in all of it and riding the energy and stepping into our deepest sense of knowing and power and our capacity that's in the chaos and in the drama and in whatever's showing up, that we have the tools that we need to come into this beautiful alignment, not only alignment with ourselves and others in the current and whatever situation might be arising, but the ability to shift it by just very slightly tweaking our energetic field in the way that we're approaching something. And so every light code is incredibly different and powerful, and I'm always excited about them. But this one is actually that. It's a choice point. It's a decision as humanity that we get to decide right now. So we'll ask Raphael about it. We'll talk about it. If you're new to me, my name's Kelly, and I've been channeling a long time. And when I channel, I kind of make the toning sounds and then I rock a little bit back and forth. My hands move around and I'll come in and I'll say, hello, like that. And wherever you are in the world, you can just say hello back. And that will connect you into Raphael's energy. And then we will open it up to questions in our membership and in our Zoom audience. If you're on YouTube, welcome and please subscribe. All right, so with that, I am going to just begin to tune in and bring in the energies and answer any questions. One last thing I want to say before I channel is that on Friday, which is this planetary alignment, this wisdom keeper, his name is actually Gorilla. He is very powerful, very grounded. He's worked with many elders across the planet, including connecting with the Dalai Lama, been on TED Talks, etc. In ceremonies, he had us climb through some crazy cave to have the light come in at this perfect moment to do this ceremony, which I'll share with you in the code, how to do these particular ceremonies and open these portals. But he's going to join us and just talk with us and do ceremony to bring in the Mayan frequency for the Choice Point Light Code. It's open to everyone. It's free, and it'll be Friday at 9 a.m. New York time. So if you want to join us, just make sure you're on the email list. Okay. All right, here we go.
Hello.
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 Wow. We are very delighted, as always, to be here and to attune to all of you and your energies and your vibrations as there is a deeper remembering and understanding that much is shifting and occurring on your planet at this time. And there is a quantum leap that is about to occur. And we are here to love and support you through this process. And so, what is it you are wanting to talk about?
Hi, Raphael. So, what we want to talk about today is about the planetary alignment that is going on. Can you tell us about this planetary alignment that is happening right now?
It is like a slide. It is as though things were twisting and turning, and it took a long time for our energies to arrive to where you are. And everything has been unkinked and opened up like a portal of alignment where things flow freely and easily. And as this is happening, energy is bombarding your planet from many other dimensional frequencies and beings, such as myself. And it is fascinating that this one, Kelly, was speaking today of the harmonic convergence as she was experiencing emotion. And this is an energy portal that opened during the late 80s, and the same frequency is open now. It is that this alignment comes to a culmination in a sense, or is at a point of heightened awareness and energy tomorrow, which is the 28th of February. And noticeably, as we have encouraged and invited this one in the traveling across Mexico to attune to the Mayan and Aztec frequency, the calendars of time in which are now being resurrected on your planet, it is that a leap is taking place between now and what is perceived in your reality as March 1st, meaning that there is a gap between the 28th of March and the 1st, or the 28th of February and the 1st of March. And this is a perfect alignment of understanding of the inconsistencies within time itself and the current calendar in which it is that you are operating in, meaning that the space in between is a point of reference in which you are taking a quantum leap into a different experience. And so you may have been hearing from many all around that there is a sense of a splitting taking place and a change that is occurring. And this is not something that is either good or bad, and we are not wanting in any way to label it. However, there will be a decisive decision that will be made very consciously during this time to align with this very holistic sphere of frequency, and to begin to step out of the constructs of which you have been participating in your current matrix of understanding of linear time, into a framework of a different time cycle. And as this occurs, it does not necessarily mean that it will be smooth and easy, for there will be quite a jolt that takes place, because it is a leaping from one state of time into another state. Although this is the original state of time that has been underneath or lying beneath you, in which has been covered up by many and by many energies, that has been inaccessible to you, as you have been, in sense, almost enslaved or imprisoned in the construct of a particular calendar and way of being. And as you make this leap and this alignment of these energies that is coming in, gives us the momentum and the frequency to support the reconnection with universal time. For it is that where it is that I am, and I have shared this with you for many, many years, that there is no time. And yet, one of the energies that holds you in a state of hierarchy, in a state of constriction, and a state of constructs is the formation of the calendar, which was designed to hold you in relationship to exchange time, energy, money, etc., as equal, and stepped out of the cyclical, rhythmic, holistic, spherical, energetic time systems. And so now you have the opportunity to begin to move into that as our energies are coming in and such a strong influx that they are bombarding your system, creating a change even in the biology of your human form and the systems in which you are operating along this idea of time. And so we have been talking to you a lot over many years now about a great change from the systems of hierarchy, from the systems of structure and form, as many that are no longer serving the collective will begin to fall apart and dissolve. And we recognize that in the pulling out of these systems, it is quite upsetting for many and frightening. It is like pulling out the rug, or the earth beneath you feels as literally as if it is shaking. This can create a sense of feeling disoriented and dizzy. But what is actually happening is it is a releasing that is occurring, it is a dissolving, it is a beautiful transformation and transmutation of an energy that had been put in place that was operational and useful for the mechanistic process of your human linear experience that now you are graduating from. And as you graduate from it, some are in the senior class and they will be graduating very soon, and others, of course, are just beginning their process and may take a longer period of time to feel comfortable in the releasing of the construct of time. But those who are graduating and able to release this, stepping into this new way of being, will be the pioneers that will open up spaciousness, creating multiple spheres of energetic systems in which the geometry in which you've been familiar with in itself will begin to soften, and the hard edge lines will become more round, meaning you will be perceiving things no longer in the formation in which they have been to date, which has been of service, but in a new way. And this then creates a new way of operating. You will notice that in the mechanistic idea of technology itself will also start to operate in more of a holographic field, and all things, including education, medicine, government, finances, will begin to change, and they will change very rapidly. In the change, you will begin to recognize that they are energy and that you are in relationship to them as your own energy, and your capacity to converge with the energies that are in alignment with your frequency will be deeply amplified, meaning that you will no longer be perceiving what is occurring outside of yourself as separate, but as a mirrored reflection of the frequency in which you are residing within your own being. And so rather than moving as you have from point A to B in linear time, you will be encompassed, you will be surrounded within the energetic field of all energy in a sphere of cyclical frequency, of the harmonic vibration of universal time itself, where you are not perceiving it in this way, but simply as any and all given moments that are occurring simultaneously. This then begins to give you access to parallel realities, to experiences that are happening simultaneously, meaning, in a sense, a glitch in your matrix between the way in which you perceive things begins to deteriorate, and you can begin to pass through into experiences that were perceived to be perhaps happening hundreds or thousands of years ago, and energies and experiences that are happening in the future hundreds or thousands of years ago, and energies and timelines of potential possibilities that are influxing and entering within the 0 point of your heart center at any given moment, in which you can choose to align with those frequencies and flow along the line of that particular timeline from a state of conscious intention and choice, where you begin to align with that frequency that brings all energies, elements, sequences, codes, light, geometries, patterns, people, experiences into your reality in order to further that of your intention, as it is in alignment with the highest source of purpose and the collective as a whole. And so those who are in a state of graduation in which their current intent is around that alignment will have an easier time, in a sense, attuning to that frequency. Now, this planetary alignment that we are speaking of course, is of no coincidence that it culminates at this particular moment in time, because its frequencies in itself are having the capacity to be like a belt or a flowing river, a slide, an energy in which you can step onto. And that means that your perception of time itself and the way in which you operate in your linear experience will change dramatically. And we will be here to support you in the teaching and the process of how to navigate through this change.
Well, thank you so much, Raphael. There's so much to unpack there in terms of how to even break out of our idea of time. But I think what most people are focused on here is, how do we make this choice? What is the choice going to look like? And what do we have to do to be in alignment with the choice that you're talking about here?
It is to recognize your power. It is to not give your power away to circumstance. It is the recognition of your energy and its magnetism to whatever is occurring in your experience, and your capacity to align with the energy in a way in which it is attuning to its highest frequency in relationship to you. And so you become then the energy of that in which you are intending to attune to, and everything converges toward you. It chooses you rather than you choosing it, because you are in alignment with it, which is your intention. And yet, it is something easily overridden, because when one finds himself in anxiety or stress or a chaotic situation, what happens in this current paradigm that you've been experiencing is the mind becomes afraid or becomes panicked, or it moves into resolution, or it moves into the fact that there is nothing that can be done, or it can also move into overdrive of trying to find a solution, and at times there is not a solution. Or it can begin to attune to it as energy and begin to pulsate and align with the harmonic energy of the universe that is flowing in to your planet at such a rapid pace at this time, that is supportive in shifting whatever may be appearing in your experience at any given moment, through your willingness to align with it, to know the capacity of your own power and your capacity through faith and belief that it is so, to bring whatever is needed in any given moment into your experience. And yet, because of the current programming, there is this forgetting or this self doubting or this feeling of unworthiness or the sense that it is impossible that gets in the way. But when you open up to the possibility of what may have appeared in the past to be impossible, and you recognize that infinite possibilities and the influx of energies are converging within your heart center at any time, you can attune with those in which you are wanting to align with. And through that process, you can then shift whatever is taking place. And as you continue to practice and work with that, you begin to recognize that as truth and you step into alignment with that frequency.
All right, great. So something I want to clarify here is that this isn't just one choice and you either make it or you lose it. It's the opportunity to choose something again and again and again. Or are you saying it's like we got to make this choice, and if we slip out from choosing it because it's so fragile, we've lost? Or what's the
Ah,
dealio?
no, there is no losing. You are not losing anything, and there is nothing to be afraid of. But you are being given the opportunity to choose to align with this energy, to practice this energy, to cultivate it, to amplify it, to become it, to know it, to ride with it, to be with it. Or you can choose to remain in the current construct that you have been operating in to date, and that will be your reality. That will be your experience. It won't be very different than it is now, other than there will be a lot of change on the planet, chaotic energy, collapsings of many things, and it can feel overwhelming, stressful, filled with anxiety, panic, and chaos. And so that is a choice. And that choice is not necessarily bad. That may be your decision or another's decision for their soul journey. But an opportunity with this alignment, this energy, this completion of this cycle in 2025 is an opportunity for you to step over a threshold into an entire new way of operating, into an entire new way of perceiving reality, in an entire new way of connecting with energy and moving energy, to attuning to the summoning of energy, to the connection to higher dimensional beings, to the communication in a telepathic way, to astral traveling, to so many things that have been dormant within you that put you on a specific timeline that realigns you with the universal time of cycles and rhythms and connection with the earth, etc. And so these are possibilities. But why we are saying that it is a choice point at this moment is because it's all coming in and converging in this moment in a zero point of a choice in which you get to spread out and decide where it is that you are wanting to go. And it is not just one choice like you are asking. It is infinite choices that build and build and build upon one another. But as you consciously choose through your intention to align with that higher frequency and to attune to it and to practice it and to cultivate it and to act upon it, your reality then moves into a state of flow, a flow state of magic and synchronicity. And then you will drop back out into the human experience, and then you will come back up again. And so they may take a few steps back as you've made many forward, but eventually you will drop away the density, the constructs, the matrix, the programming, all of these energies that are falling away in your witnessing, collapsing in your collective reality, and you will converge on this higher timeline. However, some may decide to embed themselves deeply inside the chaos, and the walls will come around them and tighten in a sense because they will choose to focus on a very narrow way of operating. And that in itself has its own process of growth. That is their experience. But it is our desire, in a sense, or hope, as we come as influxes of energies from higher dimensional realities, bringing in this energy of universal time in which you are tuning to, that many of you will align with this organic timeline and return to these natural states of universal time, because not only does it affect you and your planet and you as a collective, but it ripples through the cosmos and it affects all dimensional realities. And so it is part of the collective ascension process. And so this splitting up that many of you have heard about or experiencing or knowing about is literally a shifting of energies, where before there was always some type of overlapping in your parallel realities, but they are becoming more and more separate. And as they do so, you will have a more difficult time perhaps relating on a vibrational level to those who perhaps are choosing a different timeline.
And so, what do we do if that is somebody who is our family member, our spouse, our parent, our child, our brother, our sister, if they're choosing something that we're not, and we know that we're choosing this and everything's going well for us, what do we do in the face of someone that we love, that we want to connect with, choosing something else during this split? Will it become impossible to connect with each other?
Well, from our perspective, you are them and they are you. And so there's never really a disconnection. There is just a different experience in which those experiences in this experience of this reality are no longer overlapping in that way. But all it is that you can do is hold complete and absolute compassion and love for wherever it is that anyone is at any given moment or time, without judgment, recognizing that you cannot necessarily perceive from your perception that their choice is something that can be labeled as good or bad, maybe perhaps different. And there still may be an overlapping within your experience or reality, and yet the capacities to perceive and experience and do and align with a certain aspect of synchronicity and magic, it may not be part of their reality, in which case a relationship of interaction and communication around certain things may no longer be part of that experience. But that in itself is not necessarily seen as something negative. We want to affirm to you that it is not as though people necessarily disappear or dissolve completely from your experience, but your interaction or connection may, yes, lessen a bit as you will be moving into a different frequency. However, it is very, very likely that those who are in your soul pod group, those in which you are communing with on a regular time frame, that are part of your soul family, will, even though it is may be perceived, are in a different vibration or reality or thinking process, they are still vibrating enough within your energetic field that they have appeared within it, that they will move with you. And on many levels, you holding the energy needed during this process is encompassing and holding their vibration within that field itself.
All right. Well, thank you so much for all of that. And I know I've been hogging the questions and everything. So we're going to open up the questions to our Zoom audience. And before we do, I just want to remind everybody that these are universal questions. If it begins to be a personal question today, I will just mute you. And I apologize ahead of time, but I'm being really clear. And this is just universal questions. And be as concise as possible. All right. Thank you so much. DW. Oh, I have to allow people to unmute themselves. Excuse me.
Wow,
Right.
wow.
Thank you, Raphael, for this opportunity. If a psychic attack damages part of the physical body, what is the best way to heal that back to wholeness, back to full functioning, or an upgraded, improved functioning? Is there a way to reverse a psychic attack, or is there a specific prayer that would help? Thank you.
Any and all things are reversal, repairable, and can be healed. And it is extraordinarily important to know that. And a psychic attack can only create damage when it is given the power that it occurred. And so it is that if you are feeling an impact from something that has affected the energetic body, remember that that is simply what it is an impact on one's energy field, and energy at any time can be replenished and come back into harmonization and balance. From our perspective, the attunement to that is to find the location of the energy in which you may have noticed dis-ease or damage within the system of the fabric of the energetic field in which there has been a tear. When there has been a tear of something that has been attacked, remember it cannot attack unless there is some type of alignment with its frequency in itself, and which means it was, although not perceived necessarily in any given moment, for the highest good and evolution of the journey of the soul in that moment, for a contract had occurred and taken place for the interaction to taken place in itself. However, once that has been established and any unhooking from victimhood around a psychic attack has been released, you can energetically go to the place in which the tear has occurred within the energetic field and place energies that we have worked with before of pyramids of light that can be bringing your palms to the sun and asking for full and complete activation of the healing on an energetic level and the returning of the energies within the tetrahedrons on the hands themselves. Then that becomes an energetic field. And as you begin to spin this energy, it begins to create a spiral. This spiraled energy then can go in and literally find where the tear has been and begin to unhook. If there has been a hooking, it can begin to pull and unhook this. And once the unhooking is done, you can begin to pull it. Now, we would pull it by a spinning motion, but you can take your hand into the affected area and begin to open up the space. And then you can begin to spin it like a ball of yarn, and you see the yarn there, and that is the energy that is held like a stone, a pebble, or a boulder, depending upon what the attack is, or implant that is placed. And you can begin to pull on that energy. And as you begin to pull it, it is important for you to release it somewhere else. Wherever it is that you're pulling it out, it is best to have a bowl of water, perhaps filled with salt, etc., and to just bring that energy back out, have it be absorbed, bring it back to the earth, give it a blessing, and return it back to origin. Begin to seal the area where there has been destructive frequencies, begin to soothe the wound, begin to hold it, and then sending in simply a very beautiful and powerful light and allowing that energy to come back into balance by holding it, loving and adoring who it is that you are. However, we might want to reiterate that the most important thing in the perception of a psychic attack is that there is a victim and a perpetrator, and that energy is the energy that is seeking here to come into balance, harmonization, and into healing, in which there is a recognition of that agreement and the purpose of it, finding blessings and gratitude for what is perceived as an attack in itself, so that it can come into balance. That alone is enough. However, the mind often needs to do something physical in order to feel the energetic shift happening. And this simple process will begin to repair it and bring it into balance, utilizing the capacity of healing and the shifting of energy that you can do with your own hands.
Great question and great answer, Raphael. Thank you so much. All right, so next we have Heather.
Thank you so much. I would like to know for those with young children, as some of us might quote unquote graduate into kind of this new choice point with time, do they automatically kind of get pulled up with us? And then just the second part of that is a lot of these energies from the planetary alignment already coming in and impacting us where we might be experiencing other timelines through dreams. Could that be part of this choice point already in the last
Ah.
couple of days? Thank you.
Oh, yes. It is that we want to be very careful when we speak of moving up, or that perhaps you are making a choice that is higher, and that then by being in that choice energetically, they are with you. And we have a difficult time sometimes with language fully conveying from our perception what it is that we are wanting to share. But it is that there is no actual right or wrong choice, but there is a conscious choice to choose to step into a frequency that is merging back with an organic timeline of rhythm, cycles, unity, love, compassion, telepathic communication, synchronicity, magic, infinite possibilities, abundance, etc., healing, quantum healing, so on. And that energy is completely available at this time. And yes, as a parent, as you step into that timeline, the power of your synchronicity and connection and syncing up with your children alone is enough, because you have a heart coherence with them. You have a bond with them. You're energetically attuned to them. You are coherent on a biological level with their frequencies. And as you are choosing these higher vibrations, they are automatically aligning with those frequencies. Now, supporting them in coming into balance, into rhythm, disconnecting is more and more from perhaps the black box and technologies, being in nature, eating clear and healthy food, connecting, meditating, chanting, toning, loving one another, communicating, all of those things are supportive. But it is simply you being that frequency in itself, in the sphere of anyone that comes into your experience will pick up on that. Just like if you're at a dinner party and you're there and there's someone very negative who comes all of a sudden and is angry, the vibration and the frequency changes, especially if you're in coherence or in connection with them because you have known them, or in a relationship with them, or family members will trigger and create discordant energy within each other, more than a stranger. And the same is true for coherent energy. However, coherent energy, which is the choice point of this higher frequency, is much more powerful than discordant energy. So as you hold that vibration automatically, those within your sphere of influence, especially those on a biological level and in a level of relationship and connection, will automatically move into that frequency. The question you are asking is if your dreams are becoming more vivid. Yes, what is happening right now is time itself is completely shifting and changing. And so parallel realities, lifetimes, experiences are bleeding into this experience. And that means that in dream time, they will become more amplified and more real, as if someone is literally laying next to you or talking to you or right there with you, or you are connecting in this way. Because this is a change from this linear time frame to this whole holographic time frame. And so often, for example, this one, when she travels and is doing magic, she will notice at sacred sites a glitch, meaning as a shaman or someone is in ceremony or she is in ceremony, she will notice that the timeline of what was happening perhaps 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 years ago at that specific sacred site bleeds into the current reality of the time frame of the calendar of, let's say, 2025. And that time frame is also simultaneously bleeding into the reality or the time frame of those who were in sacred ceremony there perhaps 6,000 years ago. And there is a convergence and a mingling of energies and codes and actual biology. And so that convergence is a convergence between not only different time frames, different dimensions, and different realities, but it is amplifying right now. So many of you will notice that yes, your dreams will increase. Your experience with time itself will begin to change. Your perception of reality may begin to look differently. You may feel disoriented. You may feel dizzy. You may notice your hand coming up or butting up against an energy, but there's nothing there in the air. You might feel something as you're walking somewhere looking at you or watching you, but yet there isn't anyone. You may have a sensation of something coming and sitting on your bed, or a feeling or something touching your shoulder. You might begin to notice something as if an experience that you've had it before and you can't quite put your finger on it. You might notice that you're looking at someone and communicating with them, but somebody else has actually dropped into their body and has walked in and is communicating to you from another realm temporarily to share or to give you a message. Many things like this are going to start to increase and intensify, and this is part of this process.
Yasmin.
Hi, Casey. Thank you so much. My question again refers to the role of a parent, a loved one, and it's a balance of allowing our kids to spread their wings and to enjoy their experience or to experience their life with their own decisions. But at the same time, we want to enjoy that experience with them. And how do we do this going through this experience and at a distance and another country across borders? Again, it just refers back to the concern of, many of us parents. Thank you.
It is simply a letting go. It is a trusting in wherever it is that they are meant to be, and allowing of them to be on their journey, wherever that may take them. And simultaneously, yes, a deep desire for them to geographically perhaps be close. But it comes to a releasing, to a letting go, to a surrendering to that journey, and to an amplification of your own energy and being the frequency of whatever it is that is of your highest good and purpose, aligning with that with as much compassion, understanding, empathy, and love. And perhaps that in that frequency, it becomes one in which, again, there is a reconnection, a merging, or a desire to be in alignment with that. And that is all that can be, for there is no controlling, no fixing, no changing, no summoning of another to come into one's experience or frequency as much as one may want it to be. It is literally a saying that many of you have shared or said before: when you have complete love for another, you set them free. And that is all that it is, because they have never been yours. They are who they are. And you have been here temporarily for a moment, a glimpse in time to love them, care for them, nurture them, take care of them, guide them, that they will find their own way. And in finding their own way, they may at some point find their way home.
Excuse me if I pronounce this wrong. Silk Schmidt?
Silky, all good.
Silky.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Chris. Raphael, I've got one question. What's about how can we get rid of the nanobots in our bodies? How can we prevent from getting them into our bodies?
Well, this is part of the choice point, and this will come much faster than anticipated. And so, as you begin to vibrate at the frequency in alignment with the choice point, which we'll be sharing in the choice point code, you will not be subjected to that frequency of injection or connection to an artificial chip of sorts that takes you away from your natural biology, because you will be aligning with the natural cycles of time, and you have stepped out of linear time. And it is only within linear time itself and the mechanistic viewpoint of frequency that is moving away from the natural cycles that one would be in a match to that potentiality. And yet, that particular timeline is rapidly approaching your species as an option. However, that does not mean that it needs to be.
Thank you, Silky. All right, Ra.
Hello, Raphael.
Hello.
Hello. Can you shed light on those who have lost their work that they loved so much, friends that have passed from their life and also have left their life physically, and they've been feeling very lonely, experiencing loss, anxiety, fear, and sadness, yet they're aware of the choice point and wanting to choose and choosing to shift into the organic timeline? How do they shed? What can they do at this time during February 28th to March 1st in choosing the organic timeline with a seeming loss and loneliness?
It is the time for a planting of a seed, the seed of creation, and looking toward that in which is giving birth, in which you are giving birth to, as you leave behind that in which you have known. Often, when the slate has been cleaned, meaning the job has been lost, the family member has passed away, a disconnection from so much that has been familiar occurs, a sense of loneliness sets in. It is also a time of a clean slate, of the new moon, of a place of great beginnings. It is the 0 point. And the time between February 28th and March 1st is a 0 point energy. There is a space there in between. It may not be felt and noticed because the calendar continues, the sun rises, the day shifts to the first, something changes, and yet there is a spaciousness there. There is an emptiness. There is the new moon. There is the clean slate. There is a space in between. It is the 0 point. It may be subtle. It may not be felt or necessarily understood or consciously recognized, but there is a feeling. There's an awareness. And in the emptiness and in the loneliness, although difficult and hard at times, it is even more profound and powerful to begin anew, because all that has been or has been known is no longer holding you in the construct of what was. And so it is in this emptiness, and this is for all of you, in the time in between, in this 0 point, in this spaciousness, that a seed is planted, that the bridge occurs. Many elders and prophecies speak of this as the rainbow bridge, the bridge between worlds, the space from what has been to the new. As many prophecies ask to return to the ancient and the old ways, they speak not only of letting go of the constructs of which you have known, but stepping back into the cycles of universal time and the rhythms and connection with the earth. And so to attune to that frequency is to plant a seed in her, to water it, to watch it grow, and to align with its vibration and to step into the magic. For there is so much ahead, so much beauty, so much light, so much to take place that is filled with love. And it is that you can align with that, for that is your destiny. That is why you are here. So intend, choose consciously to move forward, plant that seed with a sense of knowing, and align with that frequency and with the stars, and trust that you are exactly where you are meant to be.
Thank you.
And Lauren, this will be our last question today.
Hi, Raphael.
Hello.
My question is about the physical body and acclimating to this experience, which I've been noticing with a lot of people. if this shaking and convulsing is related to this change in energy. And can you share about that?
Yes, it is many things that are happening in the body. For some will feel dizzy and disoriented. Some will literally be shaking as they are shaking off the density that is no longer needed within their energetic body. For others, they will feel as though they are gaining weight and padding, protecting themselves, as if their hormones are off and out of balance, as if a part of them energetically is anchoring into the familiar. All of these things will be happening for many, and there can be an accentuated experience of inflammation in the joints, in the feet, especially in the fingers and hands. And this is that literally you are changing, you are evolving in your biology into literally a new species. We recognize that that is quite a statement to stay, and it will take time for this to occur. But as this metamorphosis process is taking place and the DNA is activating, and you are moving into a crystalline structure, there will be much that occurs in the body, and some not necessarily comfortable as you are transitioning into your light body. And the more one holds on to or is afraid of the quantum leap that is taking place, the more difficult that transition may be.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We are wanting to reiterate the importance of not being afraid. We recognize that from where you are aware of a lot of change taking place on your planet. And it may feel very unnerving and chaotic, as if it feels out of control and there is nothing that you can do. And yet, at the same time, it was designed this way and is part of your evolutionary process. And although you may not be aware, you all collectively agreed to be here in this moment and to go through this process. And if you are listening to this, you have agreed to be a pioneer, a light worker, a beacon of light, an energy that holds the remembering of the codes and your own divinity, who ushers in the frequencies of unity and love by continuing to choose love and compassion over fear. This process is not always easy, but I want to remind you, you are not alone. There are beings here from all dimensions, star systems, and planets, and of course, myself as Archangel Raphael, the angel of healing. I am here to support you in your healing journey, in your evolutionary process, and to remind you of how divine, beautiful, and powerful you are, and that so many gifts are right here awaiting you to open as you step over this threshold, as you move and take this quantum leap into this year of 2025, a year of completion of many things. Also, beautiful things shall come and will be born. Keep your eye forward in the presence of these energies, knowing that you have everything at your fingertips at any moment to align with the frequencies of synchronicity and magic. We will together with you open a container to hold this energy for you in the month of March, in which you can see it, feel it, learn it, anchor it in, practice with these frequencies, amplify them in you, and attune to the highest vibration. With that, I send to you all of my love and all of my light, reminding you of who you are. We are old friends. Perhaps you remember me from before you came, but before you came to Earth, perhaps you remember that the time is now to awaken to your divinity. Many blessings and good day. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining today. Thanks for all the great questions. Love you all so much. On Friday, Gorilla, who is a wisdom keeper from Mexico, will come on and do a ceremony for us to align with the Mayan vibration and this universal calendar of time to prepare us for Monday. So if you would like to join us, that's free. It's open to everybody. It starts at 9 a.m. Have a beautiful weekend. Otherwise, take care. Much love. And I shall talk to you again soon. All right. Bye, everybody. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And we'll
Love, love, love.
put a link below for the choice.
Love, love, love.
Bye. Love, love,
Right.
Love, love, love.
love, love.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Love, love,
Thank
love.
you.
Love, love,
Love, love,
love.
love.
Thank
Love,
you.
love, love, love.
Love, love, love.
Love,
Thank
love, love.
you.
Love, love, love.
Love,
Love, love, love.